Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining in from today. Welcome to another live session at the Reactor. My name is Rav, and I'm the program manager here at Reactor London. Before we get into the session, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We're all here to learn, so please be respectful, please be kind, ask a lot of good questions. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. We're back with another episode of .NET Innovate with Ryan, and today he's going to be talking all about Azure Functions with .NET. If you have missed out on any other episodes, I will put the link into the chats for the playlist, so you can go and check out all the other episodes there. But with that, I'm now going to bring Ryan up to the stage and let him take this session away.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for introducing me. And yeah, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna share with you or discuss about Azure Functions. With that, actually, this is one of my favorite serverless solutions of Azure. And what you can expect today is, of course, I will have this a small slide presentation just to set a common understanding to understand what is Azure Functions, how and why, and after that I will quickly do the demo. So I will create the Azure Functions in Azure Portal, and I will also create Azure Function locally using Visual Studio. And yeah, before I continue my presentation, so if you are curious about my professional background, you can check my LinkedIn account, and I also have this different socials, especially YouTube. If you want to see my current and future content, you can just subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yeah, I am currently a Microsoft MVP and look in the category of Azure Cloud Native Technologies. Okay, so what's Azure Functions? So basically, Azure Functions is a serverless solutions. So what that means is, well, serverless doesn't mean there's no server at all. So it's like you can just focus on your let's say, for example, if you want to focus more on implementation, you can just do that, and you don't need to think about the underlying infrastructure. And if you are thinking about the scalability of your application, you can also just ignore that, because serverless technology can handle that automatically for you. And as I have mentioned, you can just focus more on your implementation. So it will, maybe you have these small implementations in mind that wants to be deployed as fast as possible. That is also, you can also achieve that by working with serverless yeah, solutions. When it comes to cost, this is well, if you uh, if you will research about serverless, there's a lot of statistics that serverless will give you more that will save you more or less of um, money when it comes to getting this service. I mean, it supports the pay as you go model, where it will not you will not be charged if your application is not really doing in a day, or it's not really working, or yeah, if it's not doing anything, so it will not cost you any amount. So why do you use functions? So as I have mentioned, it's a cost efficient. It supports this pay as you go. It supports this scale to zero. So meaning if it's not running, it will not charge anything. It it is also supporting multiple programming languages. It also support Java, Python, Node. You can also work with PHP if you want, if you prefer to use that by custom. There's this custom attributes that you can work with. And of course, this Azure functions can be integrated easily with other Azure services like Logic Apps or Cosmos DB and other serverless solutions inside Azure ecosystem. It is also scalable, like what I have said. It depends on, let's say, for example, this day you have more requests or more demands for your, let's say, web API. Your web API will scale automatically based on that loads, or yeah, based on that requirements, or yeah, demands. So that will be automatic, and you don't need to think about that. Common scenarios for working when working with Azure Functions. So the most basic one is you can have this, let's say, backends API for your web and mobile. You can just set some HTTP triggers for that, and you can also work with different scheduled task automations. Like if you want to work with, if you have this cron jobs that will support your application, uh, you can also have that. You can also work with some logic apps like, and IoT backends. You can also integrate Azure Functions there, and some of these functionalities, uh, Azure Functions support this all, including this machine learning and AIs. And there are lots of scenarios that you can explore when working with Azure Functions. Azure Functions also have this like extended or extension durable functions. You can have this different um, flow. So in this first flow here, you can have this sequencing function. So it's like when you call this first function, it will just call another function. You can also have this fanning out and fanning in workflow. You can also have this human interaction and other workflows here. You can check this from the official documentation. And yeah, and this is the simple serverless web application architecture. I just copied this from official documentation. So where there's the single application will call this API management to secure this Azure functions, and Azure functions that just um, in what do you call this, saving some of the data to Cosmos DB, and there's also this Microsoft Entra ID integration to make sure the user will be authenticated. And yeah, so some of the CI/CD pipelines workflow you can also easily integrate to when working with serverless application. And this is also an example architecture when working with serverless or Azure serverless solution. You can have this, let's say, for example, in this diagram or infographic, you will have this, let's say, for example, you will have an IoT device that sends an event or message event hub to trigger some function app integration. So it's like a straightforward implementation. So, but you can still explore some of the complex scenario where you can take advantage using functional. So how can you start working with Azure Functions locally? So of course you need to install this Azure SDK tools just uh, by just using the Windows Studio, Visual Studio Installer. You can just check this Azure development here, and you can also work with Visual Studio Code by just installing or adding this Azure Functions extension. And yeah, I think that's it for my slide presentation. As I have mentioned, I want to focus more on the demo part of this session. Okay, so let me just close this. And let's create our first function app. Function. Sorry, I already have created my resource group. So yeah, click create, and Azure Function app has different pricing tiers. So the most common one or most pricing tier that you will be using, or for me at least, I am always using this consumption for for making more cost effective, but it will always depends on the requirements of your application. So, and this flex consumption is a new one, so it provides um, a more complex what they call this a more complex offerings, like you will have your own virtual networking, and yeah, some um, some good features of your function app. And this is still in preview, and I didn't try this yet. And you can also use this pricing tier if you want to work with container apps. You can, that's also possible. You can just check that on your own. So, but in this demo, I'm going to just use this consumption. Then let me just demo run React. Once you provided the name, you need to yeah, you can choose a runtime stack, like what I have mentioned. You can work with Python, Java, Node.js, and you can also have this custom handler if you want to work with PHP. So you can choose this. But of course, this is a .NET Innovate series, so I will use the .NET and the version. Let me just then then just create. This will take 3 to 5 minutes, so I'm not sure if. Okay, so while we are waiting for this one, actually nothing special here. It will just create an Azure function app, and we will just go back there later. So locally, you can also work like what I have mentioned. You can work, or you can create or start your project using Visual Studio. And let's do that now. Azure Function app. Its name React sample. Next. Um, .NET Aspire will support Azure Function in. I mean, I think in the next couple of months it will support Azure Functions, and it's in preview version now, so you can check that later. Yeah, and I did not updated my Visual Studio yet. That's why this option is disabled. Azure Function app also support Docker or Docker file. If you want, just check that. Okay. Once you once you click that create or OK button there, you will be prompted with this template. You will have this initial function, and in function app, you are not limited to have one function inside. So you can just have multiple. functions here like this if you want, or you can also put this in a separate file. But what you have here is a basic trigger. Actually, never had a chance to show the different hooks. So there's this HTTP trigger, there's this event trigger, and let me just try to add another function. This one, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So you can choose different hooks here. So you have timer trigger. You can also work with input binding for SQL and some other hooks here or events. But for simplicity's sake, let's just have this example. So you can also add this route name here so that you have a fancy name for your for this API HTTP trigger call. So let's say Ryan API, and Azure Function supports some middleware implementation, even in dependency injection. You can also do that now, except compared before, where you need to add what do you call this customization to accomplish that, because Azure Function App has this second what do you call this working model. So there's this isolated working model where you can take advantages of that. Okay, so if you want to publish this, you can just take advantage of this publish button where you can log into your Azure account like this. And in my um, case, I already created this before, but I can also create my new Azure Function app directly here in Visual Studio. But I will not do that now because that will take time. And let's try to go back to this created um, function app, and let's try to test this. Okay. Okay, that's my first Azure function. And now I have this. Actually, I am really making that quick because I already have a project that has a simple crude functionality, and I will show you that. This one, if you want to, well, actually, I'm gonna just go to this Azure Developer CLI where you can start working with different templates. So there are lots of templates here where you can play around, and you can just find function. You can just copy this and execute it in your terminal. But in this demo, I'm going to use um, my own template. So which has this basic crude functionality. So if you want to try this, just search Azure Serverless, and I'm going to do this now. Copy and okay, yes. Right. So here we are. Open that. Let me just make it this big. So what I have here is two projects. One is Angular project for the front end, and one is the back end, Azure Functions. But I will just discuss this basic project. And for the level architecture of this project, so basically I have this SPA project that's being validated by or integrated to Entra ID and this Angular is just connecting to API management, and API management is the responsible sending the message or the request to Azure Functions. That's the high level flow of this project. So let me just open this. Alright, let me just go and, and close this. Hmm. So what I have here is a basic functionality. So I just want to show you this sample implementation that I think might be but might give you an idea to work with Azure Functions. So basically, I only have this um, one function call which has different if else to handle different HTTP requests or method requests. So post, put, and get for and delete for CRUD functionality, and I have this Cosmos DB operation, which do the actual work. And I also have this configuration that holds the um, Cosmos DB information. So it's like a simple application that can be extended based on your requirements. So and you can you can deploy this. You can also deploy Azure Function App using Azure CLI, or you can work with Azure Developer CLI like this. So you can um, start the deployment like this init, and this will generate important files or necessary files to deploy this project. Use this code, and yeah, confirm and continue. Ryan, that's the environment name, and um, that will generate files that needs to that will be the files that will be used for deploying this Azure Function project. So after having that, you can go directly typing this ACD app, and everything will be automatic. So that one. What I'm showing you now is a different type of or different way of deploying your Azure Function app. Actually, you can still work with your CI/CD pipeline, and it's also documented here. I mean, there's steps here where you can just follow. Sorry, this one. You can just after triggering or executing the IZD init, you will have this file where you can just follow. And I will not wait for this deployment to be finished because I have already done that earlier, and I will just show you that directly. Okay. Okay, so once that ACD app is done, it will generate a function app like this. So it will have this function called API, which can handle different HTTP requests, post, uh, get, delete, and update. And let's try to run that. Get, run. These are all the data from my Cosmos DB. Let me just try to pass the ID2, and it will just get this single information. And that information or data is already saved here. Yeah, so this is the actual item that I'm getting there. And maybe I can show you some of the menu here, which is important. So first, you have the so this environment variables are equivalent to this localhost setting. So whatever you define here should you can transfer that to this environment variable. So and of course, in a real project, you will probably use key vaults for securing some of the connection string. And yeah, so there are some menu here where you can incorporate or integrate this to API management. That's what I did. And you can just import that. I'm going to show you that how API management imports this Azure Function app. So basically, you will have this APIs menu here, and you will have this add API and select Azure Function app. Where's that? This one, and browse the function app that you want to import. So like this. It's not yet done, so let's just try this. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, it's still it's that this function is already added in, but if I remove this, that will work. So it will just select that. And yeah, what else should I show you? So so I also want to show you how to add the middleware here. So you can just do this like what you are doing when working with standard minimal API. You can also just add that use. Oh no. Functions. Wait. Maybe I can show you here. Let me just try new project. Okay, then let's save. Let's just go here. Yeah, something like this. Uh, uh, oh, I know, I was wrong. Bigger, but use middleware, something like this. So yeah, the project that I have submitted to Azure Developer CLI is updated, so you can just add your middleware here, same like what you are doing inside your Web API project. You can also add your dependency injection here now and add scope. Sorry, it's here. Sorry. Mhm. You can have this add scope and add transient here. Your dependency you can just declare here like what you are doing inside your Web API. Mm, so maybe the last thing that I want to show is this ACD template. Like what I had mentioned, you can just have this ACD template list command where you can get all or you can where you can check all the existing templates if you want to play around. So yeah, and I think that's all for my demo, and I am opening for any questions, or I'm opening the questions and answer portion. Where's that? Hi Rob, I'm done.
Hey, okay, amazing. Ryan, we don't have any questions today in the chat. So this is your last chance. Ask questions. We will give
Yeah,
it like 2 seconds.
I really make the presentation quick so that I will have more time answering the questions. And yeah, feel free to ask. Azure Function app is really one of my favorite serverless solutions. So been talking about this since last year. So
Okay, I guess there are no questions in the chat. So hopefully, if anyone has anything, please feel free to email us, and then we can pass it on to Ryan. Uh, I suppose we can close the session then, Ryan, if no one has any questions.
yeah, so thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next week for the last session.